We're back.
We back.
We're back. We're back with the go home shows to the Rumble. Oh, can you believe it? We're back. All right. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, hype the video, everything you gotta do. All right, let's start the show. We opened the show with Roderick Strong coming out and calling out Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne? More like Pete Dumb. Ha! Got you, idiot. So here comes a man coming after my title because he decided he was too good for the tag division. Well, newsflash, buddy. The tag division is exactly where you belong. You shouldn't have turned your back on your little friend because you're about to experience an ass beating unlike anything you've ever experienced in your life. That's when Pete Dunne comes out and says, I didn't want to acknowledge this, but I guess I have to now. I got rid of Bate because he was dead weight. Every time we lost, it was because he couldn't kick out, not me. I'm justified. There comes a time in your life when you have to say enough is enough and you have to take your future into your own hands. I wasn't going to let him drag my career into the dumps with his. And would you look at that? I get my first opportunity at a singles title in the first pay per view since I dumped him. Roddy, after the Rumble, you better not make any more irresponsible financial decisions because you won't be getting any more pay per view bonus defenses. That's all fine and dandy, Pete, but you forgot the part where he drops the mic and kicks Pete right in the balls. Pete falls. Roddy points to the back and yells, "Get the fuck out of my ring!" as the segment ends. And this is a number one contenders tag match for the tag team titles. Legado win. Ooh. All right. Then Shin is getting ready to make his way to the ring when Mello comes up to him and says, Thanks for the backup last week. Even though it turned out that I didn't need it, still I appreciate it. Don't mention it. It's the least I could do for not standing up for you when you got kicked out of the group. Well, I'm going to return the favor now. I'll be in your corner tonight. I'll make sure the Undisputed Era don't turn this into a shit show. Thanks, man. Well, let's get to work. They fist bump and Shin makes his entrance. Everything is going well. JD is out there once again alone. Towards the end, Shin is about to hit a Kinshasa when JD gets a random burst of energy and gets out the way. JD drops Shin and hits the devil inside on him. As soon as he does, the Undisputed Era come out. Mello is blindsided on the outside. He fights as hard as he can, but is taken out and continuously beat down after. Redragon hit their finisher on him. Roddy hits his finisher on him, and Cole does too. This all leads to them putting Mello through the announce table. In the ring, JD is watching all this happen. His face is filled with turmoil until he finally lets out a whisper that's barely caught by the cameras saying, "Maybe Shin's right." He turns back to Shin and he gets hit with a Kinshasa cover. 1, 2, 3. Shin gets the win and chases off the Undisputed Era as he goes to check on Mello. Then Bailey is backstage, and she's telling Stephanie, "Okay, so last week didn't go exactly how we planned it, but not to worry. At the Rumble, I'll be bringing the title home to us." I don't know, continues Steph. Maybe I should be the one to bring it home instead of you. What? Why would you say that? I'm the most experienced woman on the roster. You know I deserve the title. Yeah, you do. But I also know you're the one who got pinned last week, not me. Bailey gets an annoyed smile on her face and says, All right, you want to be the one to take that title? Prove you can handle it. Tonight, I want you to go one on one with Rox. And if you pin her, I'll let you be the face of this faction. Deal? Deal, Steph replies. All right, I'll go talk to Eric and get the match made. Good luck tonight. Bailey walks off as the segment ends. All right, and then we get this match. Bianca and Jada work better together this time around, uh, better than they did last time. There's more chemistry, but there still isn't enough to get them past the hump. As this time around, Bianca is hit with a rack attack and Jada is taken out of the equation. The Bellas pick up the victory. After the match, Jada gets into the ring and extends a hand to a fallen Bianca. Bianca takes Jada's hand and is helped to her feet as they walk to the back. And for the first time, they aren't arguing. Then Becky comes out and has a promo with Bliss ahead of their match at the Rumble. It's been a while since we've done this little dance, hasn't it, Becky? What's your favorite time, huh? Mine was when I beat you for my first SmackDown Women's Championship. Yeah. Well, that's all in good, but my favorite time is the next one when I beat you for the US Championship. You're too focused on the past. You need to worry about me now. I'm the GOAT now, and it's not just me saying it. Other people are saying it. Swab Gem Zero is saying it. But there is a blemish on my record, and that's you. For some reason, this little leprechaun here is my weakness. Not at the Rumble. At the Rumble, I put you in the rear view. Becky, let me tell you something right now. At the Rumble, I'm walking out the same way I walked out of TLC 2016 as champion. Then we get Roxanne versus Steph. Bailey is ringside for this, and unexpectedly for Rox, Jordan comes out to try to even the odds. But it isn't needed, as an upset Bailey doesn't interfere in the match at all, although she has many opportunities to do so. In the end, Steph gets hit with a Pop Rocks for the win. Roxanne wins. The camera shows Bailey trying to hide her smile. We go to the Undisputed Era locker room real quick, where we see Adam Cole says, "Man, you guys never showed me what numbers you guys pulled. What are we working with?" They all pull the balls they got out, and a massive smile comes across all of their faces. That's when Cole says, "Well, boys, looks like we won the lottery this year." All right. And Theory is about to give an interview about him entering the Rumble when Obo walks up to him and says, "Good job last time. That was a hard fought victory and I respect it." He extends his hand. Theory shakes it cautiously. "Thanks, man. What's gotten into you, huh? You're acting, friendly." "Nothing. I'm just here to get my number for the Rumble, but I'm not fond of how I'm supposed to do it." "What do you mean?" "Roddy was walking around saying I had to do some things that I do not want to repeat in order to get into the Rumble." "Huh?" "Well, Eric's office is there. It is right in there. Just just go in there and you can get your number." "Thank you." Obo walks up to my office. You see him open the door and stand by the doorway. I say, "Hey, Obo, what's up?" We see him reach into his pocket and get out a white glove. He puts it on and says, "I'm here for my Rumble number." He walks in and closes the door behind him. We can only see the door, but we can hear inside where I say, "What are you doing?" "Ah! Ah!" We cut to the next match. In the main event, Julia versus Rhea. Banger. 25 minutes. 25 minutes in, and the ending starts. Rhea goes for a riptide. Julia gets out of it. Hits Rhea with a spinning back fist. She runs the ropes and bounces off. Goes for a crossbody, but Rhea gets out of the way and headbutts Julia midair. Julia's dazed. Rhea picks her up, hits her riptide. Cover. 1, 2, kick out. Rhea doesn't let up. She picks up Julia again and hits another one on her. She doesn't cover this time. Instead, she looks at the top turnbuckle. She picks up Julia and sets her on top of it. Rhea climbs to the top with her, and she gets Julia into a riptide position up top. She goes for it. Julia reverses midair and hits a massive DDT off the top instead. Rhea starts getting up right away. Julia picks her up. She hits a Northern Lights bomb. Rhea is dazed. Rhea's on her knees. Julia rushes in and hits an fuck. How can I? Arrivederci knee. There you go. She hits it so hard that Rhea goes flying back to her feet, and Julia gets her in position one last time for a Northern Lights bomb. She hits it. Cover. 1, 2, 3. Julia beats Rhea. And that is Raw.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. There you go. Fuck.
We're back. This is the go home show to the Royal Rumble for SmackDown. This is the final show before the Royal Rumble. Like, subscribe, like we said at the start of the video, like, subscribe, comment down below, hype the video, share the video, whatever you can
Just
do, do it.
yeah, do it.
Subscribe if I didn't say that. Hit the bell notification thing for when
Hit
we
the bell
upload.
as well. All right.
Yes. Uh, Gotten all the promo stuff in. Let's get on with the go home show for SmackDown. Biggie opens the show with a contract signing between AJ Lee and Mercedes. Cora Jade and Team Bad are also in the ring during this segment. Mercedes says, before you say anything, AJ, I just want to say I hope you are happy. Last week you cost my girls a chance at regaining the titles, so now we have to go on and face not only Liv and Raquel, but Trish and Lita to regain those belts. AJ just laughs and says, Mercedes, it must be such a shame to be on the receiving end of some outside distractions. Well, let me tell you, that was just a warning shot. At Royal Rumble, let's be clear, I am facing you for that very belt, as she points to the women's title on the table. And this time around, I plan on walking out with the belt wrapped around my waist. So let's keep this respectful. I want to see if I can still hang at the top, and you believe you are the top of that very mountain. So how about we agree to keep our friends in the back and we just see who's truly better? AJ then signs the contract. Mercedes laughs and says, Honey, even with what you just said, it felt like you didn't believe that you could beat someone like me. So yeah, I'll agree to keep Naomi and Tamina in the back, and when I beat you, you can go back to your peaceful retirement. Mercedes then signs the contract and gets up and leaves with Team Bad. Big E seems surprised that this contract signing did not end in a brawl. Um, as Team Bad come through the curtain, Liv and Raquel confronts them. They speak about Team Bad finding their way into the match at the Royal Rumble for those tag titles. Mercedes says, when you have the status Team Bad has, you tend to get the things you want, especially when you deserve them. Big E then comes through the curtain and says what appears to be the problem. Liv complains about Team Bad being in the match, and E says, "Yeah, I was just getting the match, sorry." And E says, "Yeah, I was afraid of that." Well, how about this tonight? We'll have you, Liv, take on Mercedes, and if Mercedes wins, then Team Bad gets added. Liv says she likes it, but wants Raquel to face Mercedes instead. Biggie agrees to it, and Mercedes says, was no one going to ask me my opinion on this? Biggie says, look, all you have to do is win and your girls get the tag match you've already been promised. Biggie then walks away, and we see Raquel tower over Mercedes in a face-off. We then head back to the ring. Ricky Sainz versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. Towards the end of the match, we see Jacob Fatu get Ricky Sainz in position for the moonsault when the lights go out. When they come back on, Omos is standing in the ring with Jacob still on the top rope, and Ricky is still down. Jacob jumps off but gets caught by Omos, and Omos nails Jacob with the choke bomb. Omos stands tall for a minute until Ricky Sainz starts climbing his leg. Omos just picks Ricky Sainz up and choke bombs him as well. The match officially ends in a no contest, but choose Jacob, so he at least keeps the title. Can't choose a draw in this game. Um, Swerve Strickland is then seen throwing things around backstage, and Keith Lee is trying to calm him down. And Swerve says he is going to pay. This is supposed to be my time, and now I'm stuck dealing with this parasite in Dom Mysterio. Swerve then spots Dom down the hallway and starts to give chase. They chase each other all the way down to the ring and circle the ring around one another. Before anything can happen, Big E comes out and says, since it appears tensions are running a bit high and you two are already in the ring, I'm going to send a referee out there and this will now become a match. And then transition right into Swerve Strickland versus Dominic Mysterio. Swerve Strickland gets Dom in position for the house call, but Dom ducks it when as Swerve comes in. As Swerve and Dom get to their feet, Dom takes his shirt off his waist and throws it in the face of Swerve. He then trips Swerve into the ropes and goes for and connects with a 619. He then heads up top and frog splashes Swerve and covers him 1, 2, 3. Dominic Mysterio picks up, I think, his first win this year. Solo Sikoa is then frustrated in his locker room with Bloodline Wolfpack. He says this is not how things are supposed to go. Why on earth is Omos getting in our way? Bronson tries to possibly explain, and Solo says, I don't want to hear it. Look, Gorillas, I need you to do your job later tonight. Oh, wow. Um, just scrap that part. Uh, look, Bronson, I am going to have a word with E and get a match next week between you and Omos. I need you to put an end to this nonsense before it becomes a bigger problem. As for you, Jacob, I assume Ricky is not going to be complacent with how that match ended. So expect sooner than later he will want his rematch, and I need you to put an end to this revolution before it can even begin. Solo then leaves the room. Phenomenal Egos are then interviewed about their tag match later tonight. AJ says, before we get to any of that, Ethan, I must apologize for what I said last week. It's just the stress of carrying this entire brand is starting to weigh a bit on me. Knowing the entire tag division is always knocking on our door, and there are plenty of men on this roster waiting for their chance to take this world title off of me. I just cracked a bit last week. So I'm sorry. Ethan says, not to worry. They are the greatest tag team of all time for a reason. And if there weren't any slips, then they wouldn't be a true team. Tonight they will retain those titles and continue to conquer going forward. AJ asks what number Paige got for the Rumble, and Paige goes to show him, but AJ puts his hand up and says, "You know what? It doesn't matter." He knows Paige won't let him down. And then head down to the ring for Raquel taking on Mercedes. Raquel puts Mercedes through quite the match, proving that she may be further along than people realize. But in the end, the experience at the top Mercedes has proved to be the decider and helps her pick up the win over Raquel, earning or confirming that Team Bad are added to the match at the Royal Rumble. We then see Big E is in his office when he brings Charlotte, Chemical X, and Jade Cargill all in. He says, after weeks of investigation, we have concluded who was under the mask at Bash in Berlin. He then turns on the video on the TV, and it shows Chemical X backstage putting a mask onto Tatum Paxley before she went down a tunnel towards the ring. The video cuts off there, and you see Charlotte furious with Tatum. Tatum says, but I didn't do anything. It was cold outside, and I was just putting that on to keep my face warm. That doesn't even seem like it leads to the ring. Biggie says, come on. Look, Charlotte, it's obvious to me that you didn't planned this out with Chemical X, so I have made a match. Jade says, obvious? Come on, they have been working together for how long now? Biggie says, listen, I have made a match for the Royal Rumble. It will be Charlotte taking on Jade for that women's IC title. This match has a couple of stipulations added on, though. One being that this will take place in a ladder match. The title will be held high above the ring, and whoever can climb and retrieve it first will become the new women's IC champion. The other stipulation being that if anyone, and I mean absolutely anyone, gets involved in this match, then Jade will be automatically awarded the championship. This is not up for debate, so best you get prepared for your match, and sends them all out. As they all leave, Big E brings Asuka and Kairi into his office. He tells Asuka that Dakota got lucky and avoided any major damage to her eyes, but next week she'll have to pay for her actions. She'll have a one-on-one match against Dakota, and there will be no avoiding it this time. Oh, and if you missed anyone during next week's show, then I'll make sure you are let alone fined, but also suspended without pay. Do I make myself clear? Asuka says she doesn't need the miss to beat someone. She doesn't need the miss to beat someone like Dakota, and leaves. Street Profits are then interviewed about facing Phenomenal Egos for the tag titles. Montez says, look, when the opportunity arises, we rise to the occasion. Tonight, we walk in with nothing, and we walk out as your new tag team champions. Nothing more needs to be said, and they head down to the ring. Then close the show with Phenomenal Egos versus the Street Profits for the tag team titles. Street Profits put up quite the fight in this match. Just an absolute banger of a match, honestly. Just 15, 20 minutes, just back and forth. Street Profits proving that they still belong towards the top of this division. But in the end, Phenomenal Egos used some cunning tactics to pick up the advantage, with AJ Styles finishing the match with hitting Angelo Dawkins with a phenomenal forearm and covering him for the 1, 2, 3. Phenomenal Egos retain their tag titles. And that is SmackDown.
That's the go home shows.